Unlike almost every other sentient species within the galaxy, the Tau, as a whole, are a race with an extremely weak warp presence. Now, while some have speculated that Tau have no souls, we know that this is simply not the case. To put this into perspective, imagine the warp as a darkened room. Within this room, the souls of the different races are like flickers of light, providing a spark of illumination within the darkness. A human soul may equate to being the flame of a candle, while the soul of an Eldari will be a roaring torch in comparison. Using this analogy, the souls of the Tau are like embers. While still providing light within the darkness, they are almost imperceptible compared to the other flames that burn around them. However, certain Tau do indeed have souls that burn brighter within the warp. The first of these are those Tau who have participated in the act of Talisera, which is effectively the Tau equivalent to marriage, but amongst multiple individuals. The second are the Tau of the ruling ethereal caste, whose souls are so bright compared to the other Tau castes that demonic entities that emerge into real space are instinctively drawn towards them. Overexposure to the energies of the warp tends to corrupt individuals both physically and spiritually, to the point where many of those who become exposed to the taint of the warp will eventually fall to chaotic corruption and in turn the worship of the chaos gods. So could the Tau with their minor warp presence become, in effect, Chaos Tau. Many have theorized that Tau would be immune to chaotic corruption due to the fact that their warp presence is so minor that the denizens of the warp would simply ignore them, viewing the Tau as not worth their time. However, we know that this is simply not the case. Having a weak or negative warp presence is no guarantee of avoiding attention from demonic entities or from avoiding chaotic corruption as a whole. For example, vehicles can become corrupted, which can change the vehicle's appearance and the personality of its machine spirit, making them highly aggressive amalgamations of flesh and metal. Even starships are not immune to the corrupting influence of chaos. For example, the Terminus Est, the flagship of Typhus, the Herald of Nurgle, has physically altered to become clad in a greasy flesh encrusted with filth and countless boils and sores. In addition to this, an example of blanks becoming corrupted by the forces of chaos comes from the novel Nemesis, with the assassin known as Spear, who was experimented upon by the Calexis Temple of the organisation that would become known as the Officio Assassinorum, before being captured by Erebus, the first chaplain of the Word-Bearer's Traitor Legion. Erebus would then conduct a ritual to bind a lesser demon into Spear's body. There is also evidence that Tau themselves can indeed be possessed by demonic entities. Within the novel Farsight Crisis of Faith, the water-caste Tau called Pomalkeor comes into contact with concentrated warp residue from the Gellerfield generator of a recovered Imperial craft. This residue allows a demon of the chaos god Tzeentch to possess Pomalkeor, and over the course of several weeks would begin to slowly take control over the Tau's body. This demonic possession would result in Pomalkeor mutilating his body, carving his tongue into a shape that was reminiscent of a serpent's, as well as murdering several other Tau, which was something completely unheard of within Tau society. This possession also allowed Pomalkeor to tap directly into the energies of the warp, which in turn allowed Pomalkeor to unleash gouts of mutagenic warp fire. Pomalkeor's own killing spree only came to an end when he was slain at the hands of Commander Farsight. An interesting thing to note is that during the time that Pomalkeor was possessed, he began to conduct rituals and utter prayers to Tzeentch himself, offering the souls of the Tau he had murdered as a sacrifice to the chaos god of magic and fate.
Great Tzeentch, architect of fate, heed the sacrament of your most humble servant. This day I offer you gifts. 9 lives, taken in secret. 9 fingers, pointing to the void. 9 flames, burning in your name. 9 souls, taken in your glory. These are but the first. I shall offer you an entire world of these thin souls, and of humans besides. Then, when the heavens are lit with the fires of damnation, I will ask your forgiveness one last time.
So what about the possibility of Tau who have fallen to the influence of chaos, but have not fallen to demonic possession? Could such a thing be possible, and has such a thing ever occurred? Indeed, it is highly possible, and in fact, such a thing has indeed already happened. Within the events of the novel Fire Warrior, the titular Fire Warrior, Shas'La would partake in a mission to rescue the ethereal Anal Kovash, who had been kidnapped by a force of the Adeptus Astartes. However, this rescue mission would immediately be followed with a battle against the forces of chaos, who were attempting to summon the demon Tarkax, a greater demon of Tzeentch who had been imprisoned long ago by the Eldari race. Tarkax, despite being a Lord of Change, attempted to make a bargain with each of the Chaos Gods in order to obtain more power. However, each of the gods would ignore the demon's prayers. But Shas'La would begin to feel the pull of the Blood God's power, feeling it fill his body with strength and purpose, causing the Fire Warrior to scream in devotion to Khorne.
Blood for the Blood God!
Shas'La would then empty his weapon of its ammunition at the Lord of Change, before charging to engage the demon in close combat, using his weapon as a makeshift bludgeoning device. In addition to this, we also know of several groups of Tau lost within the warp itself, that could very well re-emerge from the warp someday as followers of the Dark Gods. The first of these groups is a force of 300 Fire Warriors from the Tau Sept world of Viola, who, thanks to the actions of the Demon Prince of Tzeentch, Corflich Loathheart, are currently imprisoned within the garden of the Chaos God Nurgle, the god of pestilence and decay. The second group is the fourth sphere of expansion, which was one of the Tau Empire's attempts to expand the limits of their territory. However, the entirety of the fourth sphere expeditionary fleet was dragged into warp space, when the warp rift known as the Cicatrix Maledictum split the galaxy in two, leaving the fate of the fourth sphere expansion fleet unclear, although it has been presumed to have been destroyed. Given all of the evidence, it's not only possible for Tau to fall victim to chaotic corruption and demonic possession, but currently there are millions of Tau trapped within warp space, where the corrupting influence of chaos is ever present. Given the fact as well that Tau vessels seemingly lack Geller fields, which protect spacecraft from the corrupting influence of the warp, as well as from the attention of demons and other entities within warp space, there is nothing against the possibility of a horde of chaotically corrupted Tau emerging from the depths of the warp to bring death and destruction to those who do not accept the word of the Chaos Gods. What do you think about Chaos Tau? Leave a comment below, and thanks for watching.